Hi, so I want to look at social dynamics in the workplace and how this might have affected the outcome of the Lucy Letby case. So I'm going to really look at three characters. I'm going to look at Brearey, I'm going to look at Jayaram, and I'm going to look at Dewey Evans, even though he didn't work there. I'm just going to look at those three. So I did a video a while back on looking at Dr. Brearey's interview, what language he used, how he presented. So with him, there was one thing near the end, and he was asked, do you feel the hospital is now safe for, you know, expectant mothers? He does give a yes answer, but he is actually struggling to speak through it. He is nearly in tears, and it's not the fake Jayaram tears. This is real emotions. He says yes, but he doesn't say it in a yes voice. He doesn't say it with a yes face because he becomes quite wet around the eyes. And even his choice of words, where he's skirting around this, you know, so on the face of it, it's a yes, but you can tell straight off, no, he feels that the hospital is anywhere but safe for expectant women. So why? Because at the time of the interview, Lucy Letby's in prison. So problem solved. And the unit has been downgraded to not take the sickest babies. So surely the problem is solved. You know, why shouldn't it be safe at this point? And we know that at a meeting where, you know, the consultants met with the senior management, I think, and some of the senior nursing staff, and they talked about escalating this to the police. And Dr. Brearey, he was a little bit, I mean, what he said at the time was a nurse could be harmed. He also said that he felt it, getting Lucy Letby off the ward would help reduce the risk. So, and he was quite clear about it would reduce the risk but not get rid of the risk. So I would like to know really basically what he is not saying, what he is keeping back there. That I think is quite interesting. So Brearey and Jayaram, they shared an office together, probably still share an office together. And in June 2015, which was when you had the first cluster of deaths, I mean, at that time, the hospital was understaffed, and overstretched, you know, with all the problems it had anyway. Now, Dr. Brearey actually was stretched at that time. And so bear in mind, he's sharing an office with Dr. Jayaram. Now, Jayaram, he has the energy of 10 men. He really does. He can talk, walk, run, and he can keep this up all day and all night. I mean, his hobbies are running, so he's very physically active. In addition to the work at the hospital, you know, he's done television series, he's a television doctor, he's also got a band called The Deluded, which I don't know if that was a wise choice of name. It could be a Freudian slip on his part. But all very, very active stuff. And he never seems to get tired. So you got someone who's really, really, you know, stretched, as I think everyone, you know, was at the hospital, because they were understaffed, except for Dr. Jayaram, because he's just got all this spare energy. So in this situation, so when concerns were raised about Lucy Letby, it was, although Dr. Brearey organised the investigations, like you know, the chart, the infamous chart being drawn up, it was actually Dr. Jayaram who was doing all of the running and actively chasing this up. So you know, the whole Draw of Doom episode, he'd actually met, was it Dawn, I forget her second name, was it Aaron Powell? No, it was Dawn somebody, in the coffee shop. So he'd been the one on the ground, as it were, going out and meeting this member of staff in the hospital coffee shop, who then ends up in Dr. Brearey's office, and Dr. Brearey is sitting in his office, so he's not getting out and about. This is Dr. Jayaram who's doing all the running, who's having the hospital, the corridor conversations. So I'm seriously wondering, and you know, just for the record, I do think Dr. Brearey is in his up to his neck in it, just as much as Dr. Jayaram is. So I'm not excusing him, but I think what can have happened is that Dr. Brearey notices that there has been a cluster of deaths, wants to chase it up. Dr. Jayaram is being very busy, very voluble about this. He is doing all the hard work. So I think he is the one leading this, and Dr. Brearey is following his lead. So Jayaram is the leader, Brearey is the follower, because Jayaram has all the energy and Dr. Brearey is probably glad of the help and not asking too many questions. So I think this is maybe one thing that could have happened here. So Lucy Letby's conviction, now she could have actually, if you think of it on a spectrum, on one end of the spectrum she could have done exactly whatever she's been accused of. On the other end of the spectrum, she could be guilty, completely innocent, and it's all a big mistake from start to finish, and, you know, nobody's been intentionally horrible to her, but it's just everything's got lost in translation and it's ended up like that. So that's the complete other end of the spectrum. And in between, what you could have had is people being misguided, misinformed, so kind of chasing this through to its logical conclusions and maybe not asking too many questions, and not seeing enough, you know, not researching enough, taking too much information for granted. You could have people being reactive, so like when Jayaram and Brearey found out there'd been a grievance, it could have been revenge, and also at one point they were being managed out of their positions, so it could have been, you know, panic, wanting to keep you know, the hospitals, you know, it could have been panic for their own jobs, it could have been someone trying to cover and not bring the hospital into disrepute. And then nearer the, it could have, so I guess you could have it on sort of two axes. So you got your guilty, innocent there, and you got your proactive and your sort of completely chaotic situation, but no one is actually at fault on the other axis. So you could kind of have an XY axis for this, and you could also have the situation where, so it would be at the top of the y-axis then, someone being totally proactive, so this had nothing, you know, this was planned right from the start. Think the unthinkable, hey. So, you know, before anything had even happened, you know, there was someone who, or someones who didn't like Lucy Letby and, you know, decided it would be nice to put her in jail. So that's the complete other end of that spectrum. So moving on to Dewey Evans, I don't believe for a minute he didn't, he wasn't aware of the case, or he hadn't been, you know, that no one had been in communication with him about it. I don't believe that, and I don't think anyone really believes that, but you know, you can't actually prove anything, so hey. So where does he stand in all of this? I think, oh yeah, trigger warning at this point, because we might get some swearing. So he, I think, is one of these people who've come into the case and then will drop out again. And the reason I think this is, it's kind of big fish, small pond syndrome with him. And it's to do with the whole Welsh provincial thing. So he's come to England, he's come to Chester, or is Liverpool, wasn't it? Because this was actually tried in Liverpool Crown Court. So he's come there to be the expert witness, and he's actually going to get, you know, he's going to come home to Carmarthen, and that's where he's going to get all his glory and credit and kudos. So it's kind of being the big hero back home. And so I've just lost my thread of thought. Yeah, so he's going to be the big hero back home, and recently he's been on the news, the local news it is. He's been talking about whether there should be extra hospitals in St Clears in West Wales, and he's saying no, there shouldn't be, it's a silly idea. But he's big in his own corner of Wales, in the Welsh speaking world, basically. So that's why I think he's going to kind of drop in and out of this. So yeah, that was my thoughts for the day. Yeah, I've just been listening to Carl's video that he's done, and he's been using AI, chat GPT, to see what happens there, and I think this is a really interesting idea, and I think it's very creative, and I think thinking outside the box like that a little bit is a really great thing to do, because it can kind of give us answers, and you know, the more stuff we can bring in like that, the better. Okay, so that's it from me for today. Hope you're having a great weekend. So please like, subscribe, and hope to see you in the next video.